Jeff Vivas, Sports Information Director at Calvin College, and joined by Calvin College Senior Mitch Schroder, the Calvin men's swimming and diving team. And Mitch joined here today to talk a little bit about the Division III experience that you've had at Calvin College, and just talk a little bit about some of those Division III themes, such as discover first and foremost. You've had a chance to discover quite a bit from an academic standpoint. You're a small business major with a minor in accounting. Just talk a little bit about some of the things you've been able to discover academically and some of the things you've been able to be involved in here at Calvin.
Starting off, actually freshman year, I was in the engineering program, which if you're ever thinking engineering, you have to start there. So I started there. And through the DCM interim course that I took, I kind of realized I just wasn't an engineering type of person. I needed to do a little bit more with involving people. And so I sat down with a human resource prof, Brian Cawley, and we talked about possibility of entering into the business department, and it's been an excellent choice ever since. I have been involved with several groups in the business department. First and foremost was Knight Investment Management, which is a great group that takes a portion of Calvin's endowment fund and gets a chance to use some real money to invest in today's markets, which is a great experience for anybody who is going to be investing later in life. And it's really cool to try to earn some money back for Calvin and help out in that way. Other than that, I've just been involved in every type of group project you can imagine. I've been in marketing projects, human resource projects, a couple of analysis projects for finance and accounting, and even my own capstone prof. This last semester, we had a full-on project with a real-life corporation that we did really well with, and it was a great experience.
And you're starting to work now at the Calvin College Seminary right around campus here. Talk about that.
That's right. So when I was about in September here, I just started putting out a couple little feelers to see what jobs are available. I am going to be graduating in 3.5 years, so I wanted to try to find a job by about January was kind of my goal. And so I put out a couple of letters, a couple of just research time spent looking at where there were some job positions available. And one of the job titles that I found was the Gift Officer and Annual Fund Leader for the Development Office in the Seminary, which is basically a fundraising position in charge of raising money for the things that are not very interesting, like utilities and salaries and keeping the place running. So that's the annual fund, and I'm in charge of running that account and raising money for that every year. And so far it's been an awesome job. I've met some amazing people and gotten good experience, and I'm planning to stay there for quite a while.
Another theme with Division III is dedicate, and as a swimmer in particular, you got to put in some pretty dedicated hours to your training. Just talk a little bit about what it's been like to be a student athlete at Calvin, especially on the Calvin swimming and diving team.
Yeah, so when I think dedicate, I think morning practice, because it really takes a dedicated person to get up and at the crack of dawn or even before the sunrise and get to the pool and jump in the cold water and work your butt off for 2 hours. But realistically, that's kind of part of the drill. You have to be able to get up and do that every day if you want to be a successful swimmer. Because you know that if you don't do it, your competitors are, and they're going to beat you out because of it. So being dedicated just like that, being able to handle things like getting to bed on time, getting a healthy diet, that's the kind of things that all play into being a dedicated swimmer. You have to do all the little variables from the start of your day to your end of your day to make sure you do your best.
Your experience as a swimmer here at Calvin, I mean, you've been a part of some historic teams, the first 2 Calvin men's teams to win MIAA championships in Calvin men's swimming and diving history. What's it been like to be a part of that?
Well, it's been pretty cool. My freshman year, we came in with a group of really, really solid freshmen, and we kind of looked at each other and we just said, hey, we got something special here. We did have a sophomore class that was pretty talented too, and those guys, I would have to give them the credit for the ones that started the whole thing, because they're the ones who were the seniors when we won our first championship. And with the combination of a good set of skills as well as good leadership and good coaching, we were able to put together an awesome team in 2014 and 2015, and again this year in 2016. And it's really, really exciting to see where the program is going. I feel like I've contributed my fair share to its success, and I really, really like being a captain this year, especially in leading the team to another championship this spring. So
when you're a swimmer, you're a two-sport athlete or a two-semester athlete. Sorry,
Yeah.
doesn't allow you to travel all that much, but swimming has allowed you a chance to get around. You went to nationals last year, went down to Texas. You guys take a Christmas training trip. Been to Florida a few times, and then a few years ago to Puerto Rico, where you guys really got to do some unique things. Just talk a little bit about some of those experiences.
Yeah, those have been some really, really big highlights in the last couple of years. Obviously, nationals is a huge experience, but that's so focused on the meet that it's really hard to look around you to experience where you are. But for the training trips specifically, you do get time to actually admire your surroundings. And Florida, we know the place pretty well, so we have done some really cool stuff there. This year we just went scuba diving off a reef in the Keys, which was really exciting. And last year we spent a lot of time doing some team building activities and a couple ropes courses and things like that. But Puerto Rico was one of the big ones. That was when I was a sophomore in 2014, and that was the year that we did win the championship that year. So we knew we had something special, which was even cooler to be in such a cool place like Puerto Rico with the climate and the vegetation and just the culture was really exciting. We did a couple really sweet activities. We went to a bioluminescence bay in the middle of the night. We canoed through a grove of trees that were only inches from our head. It was really cool. And so I've been really happy that even though I'm stuck on campus for my studies and just get to practice every day, I have been able to get out there and see parts of the world because of swimming.
Another interesting aspect is you have a twin sister who also swims. So you get to do a little family time as a student athlete here at Calvin. Talk about that over the last few years.
Yeah, so in high school, Megan and I weren't the best of friends, which I guess is true probably for any pair of siblings. But freshman year, she didn't swim, and I got to swim sort of felt like by myself just because it was my first time doing my own thing. She needed to take a year off from swimming, she felt like, or just be done with swimming in general. But every single Sunday when we'd go home for church and go to my parents, I'd be talking about swimming at Calvin constantly, and she'd get really sick of it, and eventually that kind of just got into her head as, yeah, I kind of want to do that too. So she did end up joining the team her sophomore year, and we've been extremely close ever since. Swimming with her has been one of the best experiences of my life, just because we're on that same actual team this time. In high school, Michigan swimming has women in the fall and men in the winter, but for college it's all year round, it feels like, so we get to spend all of our time together, which is awesome. She's my best friend, and I'm really excited to be captains with her this year.
A final question, the whole Division III experience in Calvin College in specific, are you glad that you chose D3 and Calvin College, and if so, why?
I am really happy that I chose D3 first off, just because it feels like everybody is here because they want to be here. Nobody's being paid to get here or being coerced other than their pure love of the sport for being a swimmer, and especially for swimming, you really do need to love the sport to want to do it full time. And college takes an extra leap of faith because it's such a long season and it's so rigorous. But everyone in the MIAA is there because they want to be there, and that's something you have to respect a lot. And just knowing that your competitors are waking up in the morning to train to beat you, and you're doing the same thing to beat them, that's awesome. And it makes the championship meets and the dual meets that much more emotional and a lot more fun. In terms of choosing Calvin, I'm extremely happy I chose Calvin. We have fantastic facilities, fantastic faculty and staff, and I just couldn't be happier with the teammates that I got put next to. They're all amazing people, and we've been able to do some really amazing things with our talents as one large sum. So, yeah.
All right, well, very good. Thanks for stopping by, Mitch, and wish you all the best the rest of this season.
Thanks.